This is not the new Mercedes-Benz GLC SUV. It's the new Mercedes-Benz GLC Coupe, the sportier looking version of its more boxy twin which landed in mid-2023. But the GLC Coupe is in Australia now and it's hoping to draw your attention away from things like BMW's X4 and Audi's Q5 Sportback. So we met with the GLC Coupe and we even lived with it for a few days to find out everything about it. How much does it cost? What do you get? What's it like to drive? Is it fuel efficient? And finally, does it make a good family car?
I should know. I've already done the school run in it today. Now, if you want to read the full review, go to carsguide.com.au.
The GLC Coupe is a mid-sized SUV and this generation model is a bit bigger than the previous one. It's more aerodynamic than ever too. No, seriously, its drag coefficient is now 0.27. Look at it, looks like a bar of soap. It's about as slippery as one too. Coupe versions aren't everybody's idea of a good time, with their sloping rooflines and their hunched backs, and just the look of them makes many people angry, but some people extremely happy, possibly because it makes many people angry. And when it comes to cars, I'm like a doctor. I've seen everything and I've learned to control the urge to scream in disgust when I see a coupe SUV. But I have to say, I like the look of this one. It has a certain elegance about it. I love its smooth face with its tiny Mercedes-Benz stars dotted all over it like a disease. Actually, that doesn't sound good. I mean, like stars in the inky blackness of space. The GLC Coupe also comes standard with the tough AMG line exterior, and I'm quite partial to these side steps. The GLC Coupe is also waterproof. Well, to a point. Let's get inside out of the rain.
This interior is stunning. I love the hammerhead dashboard. I love the gigantic screens. I love the vents. I love the ambient lighting. It's like a spaceship at nighttime. I even like the steering wheel. So how much does all this cost? Let me tell you.
Mercedes-Benz has decided to launch just one grade of GLC, the GLC300, and this goes both for the SUV and for the coupe that we have here. Later there'll be high-performance AMG variants too. So how much does the GLC300 Coupe cost? Well, it lists for $113,900, which is about 10 grand more than the GLC300 SUV. Coming standard is the AMG line body kit with 20-inch AMG alloy wheels. There's the side steps and LED headlights too. There's a panoramic glass sunroof, the tinted rear glass, the proximity unlocking and a power tailgate. Inside there's synthetic leather Artico upholstery, sports heated front seats, a Napa leather steering wheel, an 11.9-inch media display with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and a head-up display too. There's also dual-zone climate control and wireless phone charging.
Okay, in terms of features that I really like and also family-friendly features, these seats. Now, it's not leather, it's called Artico, which is Mercedes-Benz speak for artificial leather. It's synthetic leather. But this is what you want if you have a family, because you could spill toxic waste on this and it would just wipe off. That screen is also really good too. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it's easy to connect your phone, and also the feeling that you get when you press the buttons on the screen as well, it's a really natural, good feeling too. Now, in terms of climate control, it's a shame that there's not temperature adjustments in the back for the kids. That's really important on a hot day in Australia. But look, we're getting into practicality here. So let's talk practicality. Cabin storage, fantastic. These door pockets are enormous. I think only Volkswagen's got pockets that big or matching those. Gigantic center console being here. It's got wireless phone charging as well, but the wireless phone charger is really difficult to get to. It's down what I can only describe as like a snake hole. And then at the bottom of the snake hole, when you get in here, there's like it feels sharp. It's like a bear trap. And you go around the bear trap, and then there, that's the wireless charger. So it's a bit awkward. Actually, it's not that bad, but it's a bit awkward to try and get it in and out. All right, talking of awkward, let me show you what it's like to get in and out of the back. Now, this is the compromise that you're going to have to make in terms of getting the coupe version of the GLC, as opposed to the traditional SUV style. This door aperture is smaller. The roof comes down more at an angle. So For a person like me getting in and out, you've got to basically duck underneath this. I've already hit my head on it a couple of times getting out. If you have children, trying to get your baby, well, I've got a 2-year-old but toddler, trying to get her in and out has been difficult as well. Basically, you've got to get in here and not hit her head here and then somehow squish her into a seat. So that's an issue. But legroom is pretty darn good. Check this out. Now that is remarkable. Look, I'm 189 centimeters tall and mainly all legs, and I've got heaps of room. A lot of that is to do with, well, the size of the car, it has grown, but also the shape of these seats too. Headroom is also pretty good here. I don't know if you can see it, but the roof is kind of carved out, so my head can sort of fit up into it. But as I said before, this is an issue in terms of getting in and out of the car. Now, my 8-year-old son has no issues getting in and out of this car. Being an SUV, the ride height is a little bit elevated, so that helps him, and so do these side steps too. They are not just pretty, they're actually functional as well, so he uses those when he gets in and out. Let me show you the boot. All right, let me show you the boot. Now, this is another compromise that you're going to have to make in terms of getting the coupe rather than the regular SUV version of the GLC, and that is a smaller boot. It's 80 litres smaller, and that's because of the roofline. It's not as boxy, it's not as straight, not as square, but still, it does have a decent sized boot. That's 545 litres. Not bad at all. I kind of feel a bit bad. I keep talking about how you've got to make compromises and how it's impractical compared to the GLC SUV, and look, it is, but seriously, the coupe is still way more practical than a C-Class sedan, way more. Do you want to talk engines? Let's talk engines. The GLC300 Coupe is powered by this. It's a 2-litre turbo petrol 4-cylinder engine. It's a beauty. It makes 190 kilowatts and 400 newton meters. 9-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive. Actually, it's got a hybrid system. It's called a 48-volt mild hybrid. It's so mild, it just has a supporting role. Not even a supporting role, it's like an extra. It's that person in the background you don't even notice. Unless they're not there, then you do notice them. It's that kind of hybrid. Doesn't drive the wheels, just helps with electrical things. Do you want to go for a drive? Okay, let's take this thing for a drive. We've got an ignition button. Engine is on. There it is. It's a petrol engine, as I've mentioned before. It is a little bit noisy, but not a big issue. What I love is this. It's the gear shifter, and it's actually on the steering column. It's a Mercedes-Benz thing, so rather than down here, it's up here, and that makes driving so much easier. So you're in drive here, and if you want to go into reverse, it's like indicating, changing indicators. Just don't do that while you're driving along. Let's go for a drive. Now, this is actually a really good SUV to drive. I've been in and out a whole lot of mid-size SUVs, from expensive ones to budget ones, and getting into this as a parent who drives them like they're tools, because they are. It's more than just getting from A to B, it's through every other letter as well. It's just soothing. The suspension is just so comfortable, but it's also sporty as well. The handling is quite good too. And that engine, it's responsive, and you've got a button down here called dynamic, and you can change that into sport mode or back into comfort mode for a more tranquil ride. What else do you need to know? These seats, they're pretty snug. You can adjust them, but even on any setting, although they are really comfortable, like ridiculously comfortable and ridiculously supportive, they're quite snug, especially in the bottom area. Up on the back of the seat has got a little bit more room, but yeah, down below, you don't really have that much room. I don't really even have a big bottom. The steering wheel, it's quite chunky. It's very chunky actually, and that's something you will get used to. The steering itself feels a little bit artificial. I feel a little bit disconnected from the driving experience, even though the steering's really good, like it's really accurate, and you know, there's nothing wrong with the steering. It just could do with a bit more feel, but it's easy to turn. It's a really easy car to drive. Now, in terms of visibility is really good from a forward perspective. Like looking out through the windscreen over that big bulging bonnet is quite a good view. These windows are quite large as well. So, and even the side windows provide a pretty good visibility as well. But where visibility is not good, in fact it's terrible, is looking out that back window. Seriously, it's like a slice of a lemon. That's how much, that's your field of view. Really, you can't see much out that whatsoever, and that's because of that coupe shape. But the good news is the camera systems are amazing. You've got front and back cameras, you've got a top view surround camera, and they're essential for driveways and making sure there are no kids running around the car. All right, let's talk fuel efficiency. Now, Mercedes-Benz says that after a combination of open and urban roads, you should use 7.7 litres per 100 kilometres. Now, the number that you can see on your screen right now is what we got. Now, we drove almost 150 kilometres. We only had the car for a couple of days, but I did motorways, I did the school drop-offs, I did the shopping trips, I did all the types of things you would probably do to try and get the figure you would probably get. Now, when it comes to safety, the GLC was given a 5-star ANCAP rating in 2022, and it's loaded with safety tech. So there's AEB, there's lane keeping assistance, there's blind spot warning, and there are 9 airbags. So what, you've got curtain airbags, you've got a center airbag here, and I don't know, a thorax airbag. I'm not even sure what a thorax is. It sounds like a dinosaur, a flying dinosaur, but you've got one of those too. Now, when it comes to ownership costs, the GLC300 Coupe is covered by a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is great for years and years and years. Mercedes-Benz and BMW and Audi only ever offered 3 years, and now they offer 5 years unlimited kilometres, which is fantastic to see. Now, in terms of servicing, you can buy a servicing plan. There's a 3-year plan, and it costs about $3,000. There's a lot to like about the GLC300 Coupe. I love the way it drives. It's got some pretty good features. And in terms of coupe SUVs, I think it's pretty good looking as well. The thing is, it's not as family friendly as the regular SUV version of this car. No. Now, if you want to read the full review, go to carsguide.com.au.